So today we're going to be weathering the backpack and the shields. Got the backpack built here and all decaled up. Here are the side binders. It's kind of weird, there's no decals actually go on the side binders. I think it's a little plain, but I don't want to use any extra decals if they end up being used somewhere else on the model. The GN drives also have little decals by where the lights are, and that was a lot of fun to get in there. I had to use like a Q-tip and my X-Acto knife. Then I got the shields here, all decaled up, and those are looking nice. So the only white things on this are the little pointy bits here on the shield and the GN drive, so we're going to be using a lot of silver. This backpack is entirely gray and blue, so I'll figure out how to hold this. Just going to start on the backpack since that's the biggest piece. No real need to weather the part that's going to be attached to the Gundam, because you're not going to see it. And I doubt you'll ever have the double riser without its backpack. It's like the whole main attraction. This isn't going to be too long of a stream. I don't plan to do much more aside from weathering these things. I know originally the stream, so I tried to use the event function thing on YouTube, and I've used it before when I stream games. But then with that I use OBS encoder, so it kind of connects to that, and then you can kind of control the stream that way. But since I'm using my phone for real life stuff, I decided to, I tried to use the event thing again, but it doesn't work with phone stuff. Like, you can't set it up the same way, so it didn't work. So I just had to make a new stream. So the event is probably started, but it's not going to have anything on it. Yeah, again, I'm still trying to get used to streaming real life because I haven't done it before, so. And if anyone watches this afterwards or right now, sorry that the time kept changing. Originally it was for 5. I know it said 3 at one point, but that's because I accidentally made the event. But it was supposed to be at 5, but then I came home and took a nap, and then I ended up waking up past 5, so I tried to quickly change it to 6:30, and that's why have you watched the the movie? I talked about it in my last stream. Yes, I saw it Saturday, and it was excellent. If you like it, you should definitely watch it. If you want to know my full thoughts on it, you can go back and watch part of my last stream. The best thing about that movie definitely was the acting. It was a very well acted movie. Probably my favorite movie of the year so far. That's for sure. Next up, I gotta go see the new Blade Runner, but I don't have super high hopes for that movie. It's because it was pretty easy to beat the original It, because at this point it's kind of more hilarious than scary or even well told of a story, if that makes sense. But the original Blade Runner is like a classic. It's gonna be really hard. What was your first Gunpla? The Master Grade Johnny Ridden Zaku 2. Built that nearly like almost 3 years now. It's been since I started. I've been building for too long. I'm not like a super veteran. Definitely people who have built longer than I have. You and me both, but I'm pretty sure he's good for it. And if he doesn't, then I get to keep it, which is, again, no problem to me. I've been sending him up, like, we've been keeping in touch. Like, I've been sending him updates, and he's really pleased, and I think he's definitely good on his word. I'm sure he is. Gonna put this binder on a clip when I'm done weathering it. The magazine leaks. Well, I'm sure just like any magazine, if they're released monthly, we'll start to see them possibly next month. But I can't say. How much is the commission? I'm charging the guy $150 for this one. That is the price we agreed on. The kit was about 65 bucks. I didn't know the Gunpla Expo was that close. To be honest, since I don't live in Japan, I just kind of let the announcements happen when they happen. I don't like religiously follow when the expo happens or anything like that, because honestly, like, I'm not gonna get the kit. I'm not gonna get the availability to get the kit until well after it's announced and released, because I live in America. So, you know, if I religiously follow the magazines or whatever, and then I see that it's been released, I'll just be like, oh, that's cool. Of course, I'll get excited if it's something I want, but yeah, and sometimes I do import from Japan, but it has to be something I really want. I've rarely imported from Japan. And I tend not to buy in bulk, like I know some people do. Saku Aurelius is a good example. He tends to buy, if he gets something from like HLJ, he tends to buy a bunch of things, which is super smart because, you know, you pay less in terms of shipping stuff. But I don't buy a buttload of kits at once. I just kind of buy one for the remainder of like a long time, like a few months. Unless it's like an impulse buy from visiting a place and I end up finding a model store or something. Honestly, I'm a bit dangerous when it comes to first visits to anime stores or temporary visits, because I always feel bad for leaving without buying anything, especially if I'm just visiting. And so I always kind of end up buying something, whether it's Gunpla or just like a figure or something. I guess I'm more of a danger to myself and my wallet rather than the owner. The owners probably love me. Okay, there's one binder. But I'm willing to pay for the convenience of having it sooner. Sooner in the sense that when I order it, like when it becomes available in shops here, then I'll get it sooner. Because again, I mean, I've got so many kits already. I'm not clamoring to get a kit right away. So I don't know, maybe it makes more sense to import, but I like to support Gunpla shops, or small, like local anime shops and stuff. So when I go to conventions, which Youmacon here in Detroit's starting up in November, I'll definitely be buying something. I don't know what yet, but try not to go too expensive since I still have my car to pay off. Last Youmacon, I was ready and buckled down to buy an HG Neo Zeon, and they didn't have it. Yeah, convention prices are expensive sometimes, but not all the times. What's it called? So I was in the market to buy an HG Neo Zeon. And you guys, for anyone who's not familiar, that's a $300 kit, and it's absolutely massive. And I've always wanted it. And that year at Youmacon, I just had my new job. Definitely had enough money for it, and I couldn't find it. Like, this was the first convention I went to where no one had an HG Neo Zeon, and I was pretty disappointed. So I ended up getting the SD. And it, like, at the convention, some guy had the SD, and I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to just settle. But looking back, I'm kind of glad I didn't get it, because I don't have room in my apartment for that, really. Not anymore. Actually, I don't even think I really had room for it to begin with. I know of a place nearby that has the Neo Zeon, but at this point, I think at the time when I wanted it, it was just more of a novelty than anything else. I was like, I want the biggest HG ever made, because that's cool. Actually, I don't know if it's bigger than the Dendrobium, but I've never ever seen the Dendrobium in its box. Like, I've seen it built, but I've never seen it like on the shelf for sale. But yeah, anyways, like it was more of a novelty than actually anything else. So like looking back, I don't even know what I would have done with it, if I would have weathered it or just built it straight out of the box or what. So even though I still do kind of want it, I don't know what I would do with it. Like I don't have a paint scheme or anything in mind for it. So I don't like to buy kits that I don't really have a plan for. The MG Perfect Xeon. I'm not a big fan of the original Xeon's design. I know I like ugly kits, but he's a little too ugly. He's classic though. You can't deny he's classic, but yeah. I like him better as his like regular Xeon. I think the fact that he doesn't have legs makes it unique. You know, otherwise he's just ugly. You know, at least with no legs, he's ugly and unique. Let's do the condensers real quick. It probably is ridiculously heavy. I mean, it's got the two, I forget what they're called, but the two like shield binder things. Oh, excuse me. The Mechanicore version. I don't really like Mechanicore is like too over, like, man. I like Mechanicore in the sense that the detail and stuff like is actually detail. You know, like I mentioned on my last stream, just throwing panel lines all over a model is not detail. But Mechanicore stuff actually is detail. Like you have workable pistons and stuff that actually looks like it would be used, but it's they fall into over detailing their stuff. I mean, to me, they're the Michael Bay of plastic models, and I don't like that. Yeah, the Ziegler, I think is what they're calling their Xeon, is just that's probably their worst offender. The only one that I actually really liked is I forget what they called it, the Curioso or Curioso. It's the Cublé. It's their version of the Cublé. That one looks cool. Like that one actually I really like the design of. But their stuff can be pretty hard to get a hold of. Like you've got to, if you're not on the first sort of batch when they make it, you're probably not getting it. And if you are getting it, you're going to be paying quite a price. Yeah. So you just kind of have to keep your eyes open. I mean, first you have to hear about the announcement, and then you got to find a place that will sell it, and then you have to find a place that will allow you to pre-order it. Yeah, I know Samuel Decal does it, so like there's him. But I mean, the kits are big, so the shipping here, I don't know. I don't know how much the shipping would be, but I can't imagine it would be cheap. Am I getting the iPhone X? I don't know. I have a friend who works for Apple and he says it's not that great. But I haven't seen it myself. I'm not really a devout Apple fan. So I don't think everything they touch is gold. But I don't know. I've really liked because I have a MacBook Air that I bought in like 4 years ago. Still working. Has never given me problems. Still pretty much holds the same amount of charge. So no doubt their stuff is really good. Obviously very overpriced. I think we all know that. They use their brand name to full effect. But that's a company for you. Oh yeah. Yeah, he started working there. Um, Gosh, it would be like 3 years now. Three or four, 3 or 2 years. I can't remember. Yeah, not the kind of upgrades every time they come out with a new phone, unless the new phone has something seriously crazy that I want, like something like a new feature or something. Although to be honest, when Apple implements new features, quote unquote, it's usually not new. It's new for the iPhone, but it's not new for smartphones. But they always tend to do it better, which is why I've liked them more recently. Because I used to be an Android guy, and when we got to pick our work phones, I decided to get the Galaxy just because I like the openness of an Android phone. But when you're but when you're older, I guess, and you don't have as much free time to screw around, you kind of just want something that just works, and and you're not really willing to screw around with your phone anymore as much as you used to. So that's why I decided to continue to stick with the iPhone as my main phone. The removal of the 3.5 millimeter was a dumb idea. I thought so too at first, but then I decided to get the iPhone 7 because I wanted the better camera and some of the other features of it, and I honestly don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. The adapter that it came with worked fine. You can buy Bluetooth headphones for relatively cheap, like good Bluetooth headphones. You just gotta shop around. And then my car has Bluetooth, so I really didn't. I didn't miss it at all, really. There's been like one or two times where I was like, "Damn it, it doesn't have a headphone jack." But yeah, it's super rare. Android phones are prone to malware. That's what happened to my Android phones in the past. So like when I was in high school and stuff, like, um, when I was in high school, we didn't even have smartphones really until my senior year. Um, what's it called? Yeah, I used to always have an Android phone because I don't know, I was a silly high school student. So when everybody told me fuck Apple, I also fucked Apple. Um, and it was like all the Android phones I had in the beginning. I think my first like two or three phones all got some sort of malware and screwed up. So, but I know they're a lot better. Like the Samsung from my work doesn't screw up anymore. For anyone who doesn't, so I snapped the shields off camera last night. This is what they look like. They can connect and make a dumbass surfboard. And even worse, they connect on the back of the arm at a super low point on the shield. So really, these things are useless as a shield. But they go on the binders, so it's pretty cool. And well, okay, so they go on the shoulders, and then you can put the riser binders on, and then you can put this on top of it. So they should get us a lot more. But I don't even know what Galaxy I have. I think it's a Galaxy 7. Honestly, I just need it for emails and work calls. Yeah, I honestly cannot recall whenever he used this shield. No, actually. I remember him always using the GN shields like on it from his binders, but never never these. No, I haven't yet. I mean, I know what they look like though, and yeah, they're absolutely massive. They're gonna look super cool. Um, I think because I top coated my kit, it'll be able to hold it all right. And I can tell just from building that the joints are far better than the Exias. The Exia I can't get to hold up the GN sword, which is a shame because that's the coolest accessory on the thing. And I have the no grade overflag, and the 1/100, and I painted it. Well, I didn't paint it completely, but I basically chose the I can't remember the guy's name, the rival guy, the guy who like went crazy in Double O and wanted to kill Setsuna forever. I made it his, and I wanted to set up a little display because I have it on an action base, and I bought an action base for the Exia, and I wanted to set up a little like scene where they're fighting. But since the Exia can't lift his sword, it'd be kind of a one-way battle. How he lost to the Exia, yeah, Mr. Bushido. How he lost to the Exia, I have no idea. After building that kit, Setsuna used his I Am Gundam powers or something. Or Graham, yeah, Graham Acker. Before he wore that stupid mask, and then, but after he was kind of shamed or whatever. So for anyone interested, you see like this panel line here. That's a good place to weather, but because it's not a traditional fall off edge, it can be kind of hard to weather correctly. And so what you do is you take your brush and you just kind of poke it and do like really tiny strokes, and it'll look similar to how you've weathered edges. So it's just a trick I found a long time ago, because I saw that a lot of my panel, like the edges of my model, looked nice and weathered, but there were still panels that looked like they should be weathered. And it just took me a lot of practice and time and experimenting. Yeah, these are all the included decals. I didn't feel the need to get any water slides for this guy because I know the Double O kits have really good decals. I'm not sure why Jabman, I think for both his Exia and his Double O Riser review, he said that the decals were like meh and not that great. I don't know what kit he built, but the decals on these are really good. Very detailed, very crisp. The blue goes great against the white, and the white goes great against the blue. So I know a few people that don't like him too much. I mean, his opinion's his opinion, so I'm not gonna dog on any other YouTuber or Gunpla builder. I just wish he would fix his lighting in his reviews. That's my only real huge critique. I think up until his like RG, well, not RG, whatever it's called, the real mode or whatever, build strike Master Grade. Up until that review, he still continued to light his scenes from like the upper right from behind the model. Hey, Dragon Sage. Everything's going great. How are you? But yeah, he always lit his models from behind, and I I just couldn't believe that he still continued to do that. So I actually commented. I was very like, why do you still light your models from behind? And then in his next review, he actually lit them correctly ish. So like I don't know if my comment actually had an effect, but maybe he just didn't know. I don't know. I do cringe at his jokes. I always switch videos before that comes up, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's his style. People are subscribed to him for a reason. I do really enjoy how in detail he goes. Like, I think mostly because he straight builds everything. He's able to go through the frame, how the armor goes on. He's really really detailed. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but he tends to have problems that like no one else has. Like some kits he says can't hold the weapons, and then I've built those kits and they hold the weapons just fine. So, and then some kits he says can hold the weapons and they can't hold the weapons for shit. So I don't really know what goes on there. But again, people are subscribed to him for a reason. He has a lot of views. He's been around forever. And I do appreciate how many kits he reviews and how detailed he's with them. So I'm still subscribed to him. I still watch him. Yeah, again, the two main complaints I have on his channel are his lighting and his what's it called? And his autofocus is yeah, I mean I use autofocus too, but I can actually control the focus on the phone, so like I don't know. He just kind of lets the autofocus do whatever it wants to do, and then doesn't seem to reshoot a lot of stuff, which is fine. I don't know. Again, I don't live with the guy, so I have no idea how he builds. But yeah, sometimes he does complain about quote unquote bad nubs. And there's some kits that he's built where I really don't know what he means by bad nubs. I mean, like, really, I never complain about nubs. I rarely complain about nubs. I'll change that. Because, like, if you do your nub cleanup correctly, like, you won't have nub marks. It just, if you build the kit correctly and stuff. But I will point out when it is difficult to work with some nubs. Like, for example, this kit, the blue on this kit is, you've really got to take your care working with the nubs there. But if you build your kit correctly and do proper nub cleanup, you won't have, and there's no such thing as bad nubs. The only ones I can think of with bad nubs are Meki plated kits, like the MG Phoenix, or Phoenix, however you say. And the and like black kits, because I'll admit, like, completely black kits, it's nearly impossible to get the nub completely gone. Like, you'll still have a little bit of stress just because it's black. So, but it's not impossible. I don't know too. So like, again, I'm not here to really dog on any other YouTubers, because I don't really have a problem or issue with anyone, and even if I did, I don't think I'd really voice it. But I don't know if they necessarily copy each other. I mean, there are some that blatantly, it's funny. There are some that blatantly try to copy Zacarias just because he's the most popular. They do, like, I know one channel does like the unboxing, quick look, and review, and he does it almost exactly like Zacarias, but like with poor lighting and poor focus and poor poses and stuff. So like, but it's very very clear that he's directly well, I'll say inspired by Mr. Zach, which is fine. It's okay to draw inspiration. I drew a bit of inspiration from him as well with some of my content, but yeah, you can tell when some are really trying to copy each other. But the most popular ones, I don't feel like have copied I don't feel like they copy each other. Like, I don't think Prime 92 copies Zaku Really. I don't think Jadman copies Prime 92, etc., etc. But again, they each have their strengths and weaknesses. The kind of channels I don't really like are the kind that get the newest kit, as soon as they can, and then review it right away, and they don't really have much to say about it. That's why I don't try to build a kit or show a kit and then review it the next day, because I haven't spent enough time with it. I want to really absorb what there is to the kit. And of course, I don't do this for YouTube. I do it because it's fun, and I just happen to have a YouTube channel. So when I get a model that I want to spend a lot of time on, I will spend a lot of time on it. But I know there's people out there who want to see stuff from me, so I try to upload something. So I'll grab an old kit off the shelf or something and review it, or I'll do a work in progress thing, or I'll do little vlogs here and there. She's definitely the channel you want to go to see bootlegs, though. Well, I mean, I guess any kit. She tends to get every single kit out there. So I'm moving on to sponging now. I don't know why I decided to grab this shield first. I just did. I don't know. We're gonna start a critique the critiquers or review the reviewers thing, because I don't think her main issue is her audio. Oh, well, okay. The audio thing does annoy me, but I think it annoys everyone. But I think people just learn to deal with it. She wants to use a voice changer, so be it. But I think, just FYI, when you do large pieces like this, you can use your sponge just straight on the surface. You don't necessarily have to do it on edges. Hey man, it's people's money. They can do whatever they want to do with it. If they want to promote and buy bootlegs. I mean, I don't want to complain too much about bootlegs. I'm not going to do that because it's not worth it. But and there's no real point. But like I was saying, I think her biggest problem isn't her voice changer, because people have learned to just live with it, and it's not horrendously offensive. To me, being a film student, it is horrendously offensive to me enough to where I'm not subscribed. But for people who are just looking for content or whatever, it's fine. The lighting and camera work is fine. There was a short period where she just took all her video and just straight converted it to the aspect ratio. So I think I think almost 50 plus of her videos are widescreen and super stretched, and those I can't watch based off the video thing. But I think at this point she's got everything down in terms of production. The thing that I have the biggest problem with is it's just she needs to edit down her videos to just the points that are important, because she tends to do everything in one take, and I don't know if she keeps the first take or what happens, but her videos are really long for reasons that they shouldn't be long for. For example, I watched her Dragon Momoko Exia Avalanche review, and it was just really long, and a majority of the time was her just struggling to get the armor on the thing, and it was not interesting or exciting to watch. I know you could be saying like, you could be thinking like, yeah, just skip it, but I guess this is just coming from someone who did a lot of video production. You can't just skip a movie, you know. I don't think she makes it long for the YouTube money. I'm not going to throw accusations around, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't either. We want to help each other improve. We don't want to knock them down. So. She doesn't make a lot from YouTube money. There's no way she makes a lot from YouTube money. Yeah, and if you like what you like, I'm not gonna blame you. But there's reasons why I'm not subscribed to her. But I do sometimes check out her video because, like, I know if a kit release, she will have it. So, you can't guarantee that with a lot of other channels, like me. Yeah, it would be useful if she did include timestamps. And even Jobby the Hong and his swiveling self includes timestamps. There aren't many Gunpla YouTubers that I don't like. 8K 60. I don't know, when I'm driving a Ferrari. Yeah, there's not many I don't like either. There's just aren't many that I subscribe to. Because I don't, it's just a pet peeve of mine. I don't like I've been around YouTube for a long time, like a long time. And I just never really liked my subscription box getting full. So, just flooded. And, yeah, so I'm just concentrating on this little piece. Okay. Yeah, so, again, I think I like all Gunpla reviewers. I like everyone in the community. But there's just certain channels that there's only a small handful of channels I'm subscribed to. So, see, I don't know if you guys can probably can't see that, but these shields are pretty much done. So I'm gonna get a little more silver on this guy. When can I put a commission request? I would totally like to get my MG XCR Barbatos Lupus Rex weathered. I'll answer that in a second, but someone just said you just need the red camera, just that. I've used the red camera, and I've used the Scarlet I've used the Scarlet, and I've used the Scarlet Steadicam, and they're amazing. Holy crap, those are such cool cameras and accessories. I used them from this kid in college whose parents had just way too much money, and I was admittedly pretty jealous. So when can you put a commission in? So you can put a commission in whenever. I just will have you know that since the winter's coming here, building will be will be slow, and we'd have to settle on a time for me to start because there are personal projects I'd like to do first, and yeah. A 3DIO mic. Yeah, I'm not really into touching fake ears. I'm not at that level yet. But yeah, for commissions, yeah, we just send me a message over Instagram, Facebook, and maybe even YouTube. my best would be Instagram, just because that's where I mostly post. I mostly post my Gunpla related stuff. So just maybe do it through there, and we can talk. It all depends. I mean, like if you have a pre-built kit and you want to send me that, and I'll weather it and send it back. That's more possible. But in case you're wondering, the struggle during the winter is top coating. You need to top coat all these weathered things, and with the winter, there are very, very few days where you can top coat without frosting your kit. I'm not about to send you a frosted kit, so. So just know that if you do request a commission and it ends up, we end up deciding on a weathered build or something like that, it'll take some time possibly right now, but I can get your commission and I can put you in line, if that makes sense. What was that comment? Would you do a commission for a PG Bandai? The money was right. If the price was right, if the money was right. And it also depends. I mean, I'm not a super pro builder, guys. Like, my stuff is amateur compared to other people. So, I mean, I wouldn't... If you have a PG, you probably want that thing pretty damn specially made. So, if you want a PG commission. So I don't know if I would be your first choice. Cool. Yeah, I look forward to it. Again, I'll just let you know right now my plans for builds and such right now. So after this guy's build, I do plan to do... I plan to build the Sugimori. There are not that many Gundam Commission people out there, and we like your work. Well, thank you. Yeah, no, I understand why you would why you would pick me, and I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful. But I'm just saying, consider your money, please. What was I gonna address? Oh yeah, the things I have planned. So after this, I plan to build the Sugimori, which is Kotobiki kit, and it's a pretty big kit, and I want to paint it. So that's going to be a somewhat long build. So I'll do updates and stuff, but I might disappear for a while. I might do a work in progress thing. I'm not going to live stream that because that'll just, I don't know. I don't think it would make for very good live stream material. Because I'll be trying to talk to you guys while airbrushing. I'll just and I don't think it'd be too fun. But after the Sugimori, I want to build another master grade, and I have plenty of master grades to build, trust me. Probably think about doing my Urban Sniper Police custom, and then, or maybe I just step back to take a look at what I got. Maybe finally build my master grade Origins Gundam. I've had that thing since it released. I bought it when I still lived in El Paso, a couple years ago, and I have not built it. So I don't know, maybe I should build it. But yeah, those are the things I currently have done. So it's a big kit and a master grade in the line of works, and then maybe we can talk about what comes next on commissions, if there are any. Can I live streaming? I saw a guy once, or was it? Yeah, it was a girl. So you guys are probably aware that on Twitch, a lot of girl streamers, not saying all of them, okay, but a lot of them, uh, they'll have the game as a big screen or whatever, and then like their uh, live stream, like the IRL stuff, their face cam, will be showing a lot of cleavage, right? I mean, like what brings the boys to the yard. But one time, and they started to get banned for it, so I don't think it's as rampant anymore. I haven't been on Twitch in a while, but I remember one time I tuned in Twitch and like there was one where they had it switched, and like it had to have been a joke. The big screen was just cleavage, and the small screen was like League of Legends or whatever was being played, and I thought it was so funny. It's even worth weathering the back of the GN drive. I don't even think you would see it. I'm thinking about if I should do it. It's a little creepy, dude. Yeah, one of the reasons I don't stream to Twitch too much is because I don't know, I feel like Twitch has gone a way that I don't really like. So I don't really want to give them, I mean, I wouldn't be a huge impact on their streaming base and their viewer base, but I don't know. There's some things about Twitch I really don't like the way they're taking it. But the problem is a lot of people who are there on Twitch have built up a huge audience from back in the day, so they'd like kill themselves, their channel, I mean, if they moved away from it. Oh, you were in a live stream where that happened. I mean, there's been several live stream incidences. Pretty funny live streaming incidences. I promise you guys I will never accidentally live stream me getting out of the shower. I can guarantee you guys that. So I'm gonna go ahead and weather the GN drives, at least the gray part. I'll be doing the white part on here too, but I want to do it a little differently since these are like the engines or whatever. I suspect they'll be weathered a little differently. Done. So the silver's pretty much done all the pieces. Oh wait, that's a lie. Forgot the condensers. Do I really have to do the condensers? They look pretty good just with the silver dry brush. I'll do a little bit. I'm gonna just get the edges of the condensers here, just like the corners. Put some sponge in. There. Kids are pretty fortunate nowadays to have like really nice streaming services, because you can bank as a kid, in terms of kid money. You can bank if you've got like a bomb ass Minecraft live stream. I mean, some guys bank as adults with that. I mean, kids think that's cool, right? In school, if like you have a streaming channel or whatever. Because like being cool on the internet nowadays, or being popular on the internet nowadays, I feel is a good thing. Because back when I was a kid, I mean, we still had computers and stuff, but you know, it was all AOL dial-up and shit. So if you and that wasn't cool. Like the AOL dial-up sound wasn't cool. So if you know, told someone like, I run a forum, you weren't exactly considered cool. So I don't know. Is it different nowadays? Alright, so black. We've only got the GN drives here, which I just realized I have no idea how the hell I'm going to pin these things. I might just separate them. So we got black. I'm going to do the white parts on this build, or this part. And the only white parts we have are the GN drives and the shields. Hey, ASL is still a thing. You can go onto like Omegle or live chat cams or whatever. Okay. Actually, I'm going to look at the two shields and see if they are consistent. Very important part of weathering always is to check if parts that are supposed to be symmetrical match. So your legs are the same, your arms are the same. In this case, two shields are the same. They look pretty good. And they can differ a bit. They don't have to be exactly the same, but you know what I mean. They gotta at least look consistent. You know, unless you're doing some sort of scenario where like the right leg took a bit more damage or something, then of course you're gonna weather up the right leg more. But yeah, okay. Do I want to weather it this way? I'm trying to consider if I want to take off the blue piece and weather the white, or just leave the blue piece on, because you're only going to see so much of the white. No, I'll leave it off. Yeah, I'll do it that way. Okay. What about battle scarring the shield? Like on this build, I'm not going to do it on this build particularly because he didn't want any battle scarring. But if I were doing a battle damage build, then the shield would get the most love. So someone was asking before, should you use acrylics or enamels for your weathering? And the answer is you can use either, but I would suggest enamels because they dry slower, and they're a little more subtle, the color, which is kind of what you want. But when it comes to black, I actually prefer to use acrylic because they dry faster and they're not subtle. Because with black, I mean, if I'm trying to do paint chips, I don't want it to be a subtle change between the quote-unquote base paint and the black. So when it comes to black, you always want black to be really solid. But you gotta be careful because black is really, you know, it's really, really black. so that's, you're not gonna be able to see it, unfortunately, but just chips on the edge of the shield. This is such a weird shield, I really hate it. The nice thing about sponging is that it will kind of naturally catch the edges of the model. So even if, since I just pushed down, let's see, I just pushed down straight onto the back part of this shield, and it got the chips basically, or the chips quote unquote, just on the edges. It looks pretty good. So that shield is done. Oof. What about oil paints and gunk washing? Oil paints. So enamels are oil based. So there's, I think that's what you're referring to. Maybe, I don't know. You know what? I actually don't know what differs a gunk wash from a regular wash using brown and black. I see it always mentioned on the Gunpla subreddit. And to me, it just looks like a black, it just looks like a dark brown wash. So is there anything super specific about a gunk wash that differs it from a regular wash? And do I wash my pieces before painting? Yes. If it's a complete repaint. If it's just this, no. There's no point. Sure, I'll keep you in mind. If you send a message to my Instagram, then just, if you could, remind me on there. Okay, so literally a wash with an oil paint, no thinner. I don't get the point then, really. I mean, the point of a wash is to bring out the details on, like, the recessed part of a kit, right? So, however you decide to go about doing that with, I would suggest doing it with enamels, but I have done it with acrylics and it turns out decent. But however you decide to go about it, as long as your colors are correct, it doesn't really matter what kind of paint it is. I don't know if there's something special about oil, quote unquote, paints that dry differently. So maybe I have to just look it up, but I have this enamel stain, right? You do it right. Looks like a filter also. So I have like this enamel stain, quote unquote. It really is just watered, thinned down black enamel paint. I also have a rust as well. I'm guessing. Yeah, maybe I'll look it up, but I'm able to achieve sort of like gunky engine wear and tear with, oop, shit, that was a lot of black. Just wipe that off. Whoop. I'm able to achieve like engine wear and tear and weathering by just doing a dark brown wash and then doing a black wash like afterwards. Kind of give like a layered effect. Actually, I have an example here I can show you guys. You're not gonna be able to see it very well, but if you want to see it better, go look up my Y-Wing review. I did a Y-Wing build of the Bandai kit, and I did a wash on that. I guess gunk wash. I did it with like brown and oil paints, I guess. I don't know, but you'll kind of see the sort of effect you get with it. Every time I see a gunk wash on Reddit though, and I'm not here to dog on people, but every time I see a gunk wash on Reddit, it doesn't look very good. I mean, there are a few times when it does look really good. Yeah, I have a pretty nice collection here. My girlfriend actually got me this whole paint stand thing and paint. So, but I don't use all of it, but I do use most of it. What was I talking about? Mine look good, of course. Of course. But what I always but what I always see for what it just kind of looks like you covered it in chocolate was what I always tend to see. Because you can't just do a wash and walk away and say done. When you weather stuff, it like weathering really benefits from layers, and weathering also really benefits from a combination of techniques. So if you just do a wash, you know you've done something, but it doesn't really look weather. It just kind of looks halfway done. If you do like dry brushing, wash, some streaking, some staining, then you kind of you really look like the thing has been used. In this one right now, I'm doing my dry brushing, the sponging, and the staining. So, and of course I did panel line, so I guess you can kind of consider that a wash. I mean, that's technically what it is. But yeah, that's, people, it's okay to start off just doing one technique on a kit, but I would encourage everyone to at least try the whole process. Because, if you just do one technique and call your kit done, it's not, you're not going to have what I would consider a completed kit. But that's just me, okay? Like, my word is not the word of God. No one's is. So I like to cut my sponges kind of like this, where there's an edge, and I tend to get the edge more paint filled than the other, a little wetter. Oops. But then sometimes you can put too much paint. Gunpla is freedom. Gunpla is partially freedom. You need to clean up your nubs. That's exactly right. Oh shit. So sometimes, like with, you're not gonna be able to see, but with my black paint, I like to have like a layer of black at the top, so I could just dip my sponge in, but it just kind of sank, so I'd have to shake it again. But there's paint right here. Whoop. The GN drive designs are so cool. I really, really like them. I kind of don't like how they just sort of work, The explanation for why these are like the ultimate power source wasn't all that great in the show. Either that or it wasn't compelling enough for me to remember, one or the other. Do you have noob nubs on your kits? Yes, I do. I definitely do. My Master Grade God Gundam, which is my favorite mobile suit, looks like trash. Like trash. Because it's, at that point, I wasn't, so like, here was the sort of, here was the, sort of problem with starting out. So I started out doing battle damage and weathering right away. That was my first kit I battle damaged and weathered. And the problem with that is I didn't know how to do a clean build. And so when I wanted to do a clean build, I really fucked it up. And the first one was my MG God Gundam, and man, it looks like trash. And yeah, I want to redo it. I want to get a new kit. I want to take that old one and launch it into space. And it sucks because so when I got that kit at that time, it was really hard to find the G Gundam Master Grades, except for that one. And so, I mean, luckily that was my favorite suit, but I wanted them all, so I couldn't get the Spiegel, I couldn't get the Shining, and I couldn't get the Master Gundam. And I got them recently-ish, and those came out, and I built those clean as well, and they came out way better. Like, if you guys haven't seen my Shining Gundam review, you can go ahead and check that out. But it looks, I mean, I don't mean to brag too much, but it looks really good. Like, I really did a good job on clean building that guy. And putting him next to my God Gundam is like night and day. I think sponging's all done here. We're just gonna move on to the Tamiya weathering. Masters doing the streaks now. I don't know if you're talking about my specific build or not, Brandon, but just in general, the Shining Gundam it's a really cool. I actually used to really dislike it. I used to really hate the Shining Gundam's design. I didn't know what it was about it that I hated so much. I think it might have been the size of the shoulders, but I rewatched G Gundam somewhat, recently, and yeah, I don't understand why I didn't like it. It's because I really like the God Gundam so much. I still want to call the God Gundam the Burning Gundam, and I still continue to do so sometimes, but that's what I grew up with. But now there's actually a Burning Gundam, or I guess it's technically the Build Burning Gundam, right? So I can't really do that anymore. It's just weird to call it the God Gundam. I'm not like a religious zealot or anything, but it feels weird. God Gundam. It doesn't flow off the tongue very well. Okay, Tamiya Weathering Masters. What should we start with? Maybe the backpack. Yeah, I know I can't deny it, but I grew up with Burning Gundam. Many people did. I think Burning Gundam fits it more. It has an attack that literally burns through a cockpit, and like the ending attack is heat end, and it like destroys it with a hot fiery explosion. Devil Gundam sounds better. What did they call it? The Dark Gundam was the American version. No, Devil Gundam sounds more appropriate. Just God Gundam. When I learned the true name, I thought it was just kind of weird. I mean, it was godly in the show, so maybe that's why. But Dark Gundam sounds racist. The latest Build Fighters had a Gundam called the Lightning Black Warrior. Not everything's racist. Get out of here. It's a problem with America at the moment. I mean, soon I'm sure UC Berkeley's planning a protest for Taco Tuesday because it's apparently racist. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were things in that show that were pretty blatantly racist. Tequila Gundam was a pretty racist Gundam. Zebra Gundam was pretty racist in its design. But again, not everything is racist. Just if you can take anything from the stream, take that. So when I do streaking, I tend to skip the gray parts because it's gray. Mr. Popo's races. I don't think they meant for Mr. Popo. Again, that one actually I don't think is racist either. Like, I don't know the history behind the design of Mr. Popo, but I don't think he was actually meant to represent blackface. I think the Americans just sort of took it that way, and the Japanese it just happened to look like blackface, so they changed the color. Same thing with Jinx, so they changed them to like purple instead of black. But I don't think the Japanese or whoever made the Japanese, I don't think when they made the show they thought, haha, this looks like blackface. No. I mean, like in that case, yes, it was smart for the whoever did it for kids at the time. Whoever edited Dragon Ball Z, they made the smart decision to change the color of Mr. Popo. I mean, he would have offended people just on the surface level in America, right? So you don't want to alienate your audience. So like, that makes sense. But for example, like, it's a nod to Nazi. No, Super Saiyan's not a nod to Nazi Germany. Oh, come on, man. Get out of here. It's like, look, this is how far getting offended has taken us. The new Call of Duty World War II doesn't have fucking swastikas in it. Come on. Because, like, apparently that offends people. Please. No, it doesn't have to do with Nazi Germany. This is like, you ever seen the video of the crazy woman who like claimed that Monster Energy was like the drink of the devil or something because she like took the Monster M and like derived that it had somehow you could like reform it into like satanic symbols. You just don't want to get to that level. Yeah, go find the video. Like, this lady had a like information stand at some convention, and she was trying to convince people that like Monster Energy was the work of the devil, so that because the Monster M could be like reformed into satanic symbols and blah, 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 blah. So It's a pretty entertaining video though. That's what she claimed. So this part isn't super exciting, but it always makes the result look pretty damn good. Just putting some highlighting on the parts to make them look like dust and stuff has been trickling down the side of the Gundam. Again, not doing the gray because the black Tamiya stuff just doesn't show up on gray. I remember someone asked once, a long time ago on Reddit, do I panel line gray, like the inner frame stuff? And the answer is yes. Because with the wash, you always want to get the recessed areas darker than the outside. And black, unless you're dealing with a completely black model, black will always be darker than whatever you're putting it on. So yes, with gray, yes, you panel line it with black. Are you using women's makeup? No. I have the Tamiya Weathering Masters here, but if you go to Walmart, you can get the little applicator, because like the one that it comes with, this little thing, this applicator part really sucks. It breaks almost like with the second model, but you can go to Walmart and get these little women's like eyeshadow applicators for less than $1. You can get like 15 of these things, and they last longer than the one that comes with the Tamiya weathering thing. So that's what I'm using. What should we do next? Sure, do the shield here. Since this is a shield, it's big, I'm just taking the applicator, I'm just dragging it down the entirety of it. And this shield's very simple, so it doesn't have like a lot of vents or anything like that. So, but even with vents, this would catch onto the edges and make it look like these streaks are coming out of the internals or something like that. Just brush it off, and it gives a really nice subtle effect. No, I'm not weathering the clear or effect pieces. Because it's not battle damage, it's really difficult to weather effectively clear pieces. There is a way. The easiest way is to take a weathering pastel and just kind of stain it a little bit. And that's okay. Like, it kind of looks dirty and dusty. But the best way to weather clear pieces, in my opinion, is doing a battle damage job and cracking the clear piece and then doing a black wash on it to bring out the cracks. I did it on my GM build, and I did it on my Master Grade COG, which I want to refilm the review for that one because the original one kind of sucks ass. Yes, intent. Just take your nipper and choose a place that you feel like a crack would make sense, usually near the edge. And just, you can either, so if you want to do a big crack, you can take your nippers in and just kind of cut into it. Or you can take your X-Acto knife and just kind of run it across and just kind of carve out a crack. Again, I've done it a few times now, and people love it. they fucking love it. But it really does look pretty cool. But that's the most effective way I've seen clear parts weathered. It's risky, you might end up snapping it in half. If you end up snapping it in half, you can use clear, thin cement and put it together, sand it, and then use polish to clean it up. So yeah, snapping it does, I mean, you've got to do quite a bit of repair. But they're not that fragile, I found, unless they're really, really tiny. But then at some point, like, I mean, you want to weather larger pieces or battle damage larger pieces. So, yeah, if the piece is too small, just skip it. And there's no point in really weathering it, to be honest. So, I'm not gonna clip that yet. Really, if you just take your time and you're careful with it, you don't do like too many cracks. I suggest maybe like just 3 or 4, just like one central crack, and then just kind of carve out about like 3 other cracks, just kind of make like a lightning pattern. It'll look pretty good. What about battle damaging with actual fire? I wouldn't do it. I've seen it. Like, I've seen YouTube videos of people like, hello, how are you? I've seen videos of people like sticking firecrackers up like GM's butts and then blowing it up. And then they're like, there it is. It's battle damaged. It just seems kind of I don't know. Doesn't seem very effective nor either cost effective or time effective or really quality effective. Yeah, people have done it. I'm not joking about the firecracker one. Like, this guy literally took his HG GM and then like taped a firecracker like under its crotch and just blew it up. And definitely, like, it looks like it was damaged, but it doesn't look like it was damaged by a real life fight as if it were like 20 centimeters tall or 20 meters tall. It looked like it was a toy that Sid from Toy Story destroyed. So I guess my answer is don't use actual fire to weather your kids. I've also seen people take like axe and a lighter to some to do like fire damage. And that doesn't really work. What would a paintball gun do? Be fun to just hit it. I don't know if it would achieve much else. You're not gonna be able to see it. But the streaks are done on this guy. What part is this? Unfortunately, you've come almost near the end of the stream. I'm weathering the backpack. I'll show it off here at the end, but I'm weathering the backpack and the shields. I know originally the event said that I would be doing the rifles, and I did see that video. But I know originally the event said I would be weathering the rifles, but my plan was to come home and snap those and possibly, do it on stream. But I ended up taking a nip. And so I never got around to building them. But I'll snap them off stream and weather them along with some other stuff. But what I really like about this kit and a lot of kits in general, if I can just quickly get some streaks down inside the shield where it's exposed. are the white decals. And when you do streaks over white decals, it looks really cool. I kind of smeared it. Just redo it. Make this streak a little bigger. Yeah, it looks better. So it's really annoying that the camera won't autofocus during a live stream. Like, I don't know if I have a setting wrong or something, but trust me, it looks cool. Yeah, so I did see that 100 layers of top coat. Someone was going to do it eventually. It wasn't going to be me. I wasn't about to waste top coat. But yeah. That's another YouTuber that, or Gunpla reviewer that I just have problems watching. Not necessarily because of his content, but if I'm to be brutally honest, and I'm sure many people think this about me, his voice. That's a very excited man. Let's just say that. Very enthusiastic, and I can appreciate that. But his content's really good. Although it's kind of funny because I actually watched him a lot. Like, I've been watching Mecha Gaotsu, whatever, for a long time. And earlier, like, go watch like his older reviews, like his like Infinite Justice review, or his what was the first Gundam he reviewed? I think he reviewed the Blitz Gundam. And you'll see that his voice is very normal in those videos. Like, they're very calm, and it's like the exact same content, but again, like very, very calm and normal. But I don't know what happened. Maybe he got more followers, so he felt like he needed to change it up, or more subscribers. So I don't know, but I kind of prefer his older reviews. Again, he is someone I still watch. I need a light on my thing. I'm technically over exposed. I mean, you can see how white this sheet is. The problem is my camera won't autofocus for whatever reason during a live stream. I'm just using my phone, but again, I don't think the purpose of my live stream really isn't to show you guys details on the build, because I always do a review or post to my Instagram more detailed shots. I guess this is more about the process. You can see what I'm doing, and I have tutorials, so yeah. But I think people enjoy this sort of show he puts on. So again, his content is still good. Just getting out more pegs here. I'm separating up this GN drive a little bit. The thing I wish more YouTubers would do in general, not just Gunpla reviewers and stuff is interact with their audience a bit more in the comments, because I enjoyed talking to people. You know that. You guys probably know that. Like, I always try to reply to comments as much as I can. I don't always get to it, but I know Zaku Aurelius is really, really good about that. Tends to reply to as many people as he can before, you know, he can't reply to everybody. His fan base is far too big. It would just be impossible. And hopefully one day I get to that point. But, you know, people are asking questions in the comments. Like, for example, in Prime 92's videos. I know some of them are like really, I wouldn't answer either if they ask like, where do I get this kit? Well, she always posts the link in the description, so it's really just read the description. But that, you know, stuff like that I wouldn't answer. But some people are asking like legitimate questions that aren't answered in the description or the video, and then it's just totally silent. And so yeah, I don't know why exactly. Can't force someone to do what they don't want to do, but I mean, you know what they say, there's always Google. There are some questions that I see that like really, if you just spend like literally 30 seconds Googling, you will find your answer. I just like talking to people, and I don't have too many. I don't really know anybody in real life that builds Gunpla except for me. I don't have any real life Gunpla friends. So tragic, truly. But I know some people on Instagram and stuff that I talk to regularly. What do I do about trolls and comments? Ignore them. Unless they're being, you know, hellacious, I'll remove their comments, but otherwise just ignore them. That's what you should do with every troll. Trolls feed off of attention, so like if you give them something to work with, you're just fueling the fire. So with these, I'm doing like you can kind of see I'm staining the tip and kind of bringing it back. So, because this is like a point, it's kind of like a, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a cone, and with pieces that are kind of cone-like in shape, it looks really cool when you kind of bring streaks back across it and kind of make a center point and bring it back. I did that on my Y-wing, if I can grab it here. You can kind of see, let me just block out that real quick. Kind of see on the engine pods there how the streaks are starting in the center and kind of going back. That's how I like to weather cone-like shapes. What is it? I'll bring it out again. This is a Y-wing from Star Wars. It's the Bandai kit. I have a review of this on my channel. It's kind of old, but I did a lot of work on this thing. This entire body was an entirely different color. I repainted it gunmetal, did a gunk wash, I guess is what it's called. Really, I just did some watered down, it's a little dusty, a little watered down. Yeah, it is an incredibly detailed model. It's really nice. All these copper pipes you see are actually separate pieces, and it is a huge pain in the ass to get all these copper pieces connected because they're so incredibly thin. And I broke a few on here, but I mean, there's so many that it's you almost can't see them, and they all come gray. Like the gunmetal part, see here, like the darker gray came in like this neutralish gray, and then the pipes kind of came in a lighter gray. So I repainted all the pipes copper, and like trust me, that was not fun, but I did it. And yeah, I did a gunk wash on it, did dry brushing. In fact, let me show you guys something kind of cool. Guys will probably not be able to see it, but I painted the pilot. Like really, really nice. He comes also kind of all, yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it in full detail. Again, I have a review on my channel so you guys can check it out, but painted the pilot really, really nice. Like for me, this is one of the best pilot paint jobs I did, and I completely detailed in the cockpit. So yeah, spent a lot of time on this model. The White Wing is my favorite ship from Star Wars, so, or starfighter from Star Wars, so really wanted to give it some love. Had to glue a few parts on the engine pods because they were like, these thin parts don't really connect. This is a snap fit model, by the way. It's not glue, but I did have to use some glue on it. Yep, even painted the little red eyes on the R4 unit. Sorry, I really like this model. Yeah, that just sits on my desk. And I actually have the Snow Speeder, because the Snow Speeder is my second favorite ship. How do I send you a gift? What kind of gift? Like a one that would come in the mail? Thoughts on PG Millennium Falcon being P Bandai? Kind of makes sense to me. I mean, the smaller, I don't even think it has a scale technically. The smaller Millennium Falcon is like super nice. I've seen it, like, I actually don't like the Millennium Falcon, but it's really, really nice. And if you want a model kit of the Millennium Falcon, like, and you can't get the P Bandai one, you're not compromising. The only thing you're compromising is the size by getting that smaller kit, because like the detail is all there, and it's, trust me, it's really nice. So the only reason why you would want the PG Millennium Falcon is just to have a bigger one, which, you know, I don't think a lot of people would actually really want, which kind of makes sense that it's P Bandai. We can talk in if you really want to send me something, that's gross, I'm just scratching my armpit on live stream. If you really want to send me something, we can talk through YouTube messages, but I don't know. I'm grateful for it, but I don't openly ask for gifts or anything like that. Again, just consider if you really want to send it. In any case, is this gonna focus? But yeah, it's not gonna focus. Anyways, I got the backpack done here. Very subtly done. Yeah, just the black streaking looks pretty good. The black streaking always looks really good on blue, white, and any sort of light gray, and red. Red, for whatever reason, black streaks always looks really, really cool. I really like how this particular shield part came out. Again, I'm really sorry you guys can't see it, but my Instagram will have more high quality pictures on it. And whenever if I do a review on this, I need to talk to the customer if he doesn't mind me doing a review on it. And I don't know if I really want to do a review because I don't want to risk breaking anything while messing with it. But if I do a review, you will definitely see this kit in more detail. Let's take a look at one of these shield parts because this looks pretty cool too. See that a little bit better just because it's white, but yeah. So I got a lot of pieces on this foam board because I've had to separate it so much. So selling, I have a lot of backlot kits that I'm selling and some I don't think would sell, so I thought about giving away maybe. That's nice. Just a word of warning, Nafal, is that your name? Yeah, Nafal. I really don't appreciate begging for gifts or anything from other people. If someone offers it from you, then that's one thing, but please don't ask for things from people, either from me or in the comments. It's just kind of rude. So I'll let that one. It's okay. It's okay, but I'm just saying, just a word of warning. I poured way too much dinner into this thing, so I might just keep it around until the next time I weather. Yeah, if you want to ask for something, just do it privately. That's all I ask. So I'm done for today. So we did the backpack, including the binders. Well, okay. We did the backpack, the shields, and the GN drives. And so the next step at this point would be to go top coat them, but it's late. And for anyone wondering, I get this question a lot. No problem, I almost called you Jesse. No problem, Dragon. I get this question a lot. What top coat do I use? I use this Tamiya TS80. This is God's gift to Gunpla, well, to modelers, to plastic modelers. This is the best matte spray I've ever used in my life, and it sucks because I can only find in these tiny little cans, and they're relatively expensive. So, but for those looking for a cheaper alternative, let's see if I still have some. I do. Nope, that's workable fixative. I think this is a can of yeah, Mr. Hobby Super Clear is also really good. I think this is a can of Krylon matte top coat. This stuff works really well too. If you're low on cash and you need a huge ball or something, I still have a lot in this. And then I have one more that okay, so this is gloss, but they sell this at Hobby. I think this is a Hobby Lobby brand. This is Treehouse Clear Acrylic. This is high gloss. I don't have any more of the matte. But the matte from this is also incredibly good. I don't advise using Rust-Oleum. I used Rust-Oleum for the first couple kits, and Rust-Oleum's really meant for like your, furniture or something larger. Their stuff isn't that great for their top coats, at least, like their matte finishes aren't great for smaller things. It comes on really thick, and yeah, you need a lot of experience to really control Rust-Oleum. With TS80 Tamiya, like you can screw up all you want because it goes on so thin, and it's lacquer based, so please spray it outside or in a vented area. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for the end here. But thank you guys for watching. The next time, I think I'm not gonna stream for a while. I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up the snapping for the rest of the build. So that includes the O-riser, the binders, and the rest of the weapons. And then the next time I stream, we'll probably weather those. Because I don't know. I think a lot of people like to see the process. Just an hour more of work. Yeah, the riser is pretty detailed. Anyways, again, thank you guys for watching, and well, I'll catch you next time. Stay tuned. Bye bye.